وبالله ومن الله وإلى الله وعلى الله وفي الله ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace and blessings of Allah be on the noblest of the prophets Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his household, his companions, and all those who fall in righteousness at the day of reckoning. I take this opportunity to welcome you to another edition of Ramadan in 10 minutes on RAANOD TV. As we have been doing from the beginning of Ramadan, we remind ourselves about the months of Ramadan, fasting in this month, and then we also learn from some of the previous prophets. That was what we did in the first 10 days of Ramadan. In these second 10 days of Ramadan, we are learning from the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and by way of reminder about fasting, Allah says, Ya ayyuhallazina amanu kutiba alaykum siyam kama kutiba alal ladzina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun, that oh, you who believe, fasting has been prescribed for you just as it was prescribed for those who came before you, so that perhaps you may learn self-restraint, you may learn God consciousness through fasting. May Allah enable us to acquire this God consciousness. Today, by way of learning from the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we want to look at his reliance upon Allah, his trust in Allah, his perseverance and trust in Allah. Indeed, that is what is known as tawakkul, a very important quality that each believer should have. Indeed, Allah goes on to tell us in the Quran, Allah says, وَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى الْحَيِّ الَّذِي لَا يَمُوتُ, and rely upon, trust in Allah, the ever-living who does not die. My question to you is, in whom have you reposed your trust? Have you reposed your trust in Allah? If you have reposed your trust in Allah, then I will say that indeed you are on track. But if you have put your trust in any other beings, they may disappoint you. Even if you trust me, the speaker who is addressing you at this very moment, there may come a time when I will let you down, because I am a human being and I cannot always be there to respond to your needs or to be of assistance to you always. But if you put your trust in Allah, the one who created the heavens and the earth, the one who created everything therein, the one who knows the troubles you may be undergoing this very moment, the one who will always be there to see you through. The troubles may come, the storms may come in your life. If I talk about the storms, I'm talking about the ups and downs that we meet in our lives. Things do not go the way you expect. You have ventured into a business. The business is not going well for you. You are running at a loss. You are losing all the resources that you invested into it. Your marriage is not going the way you expect your marriage to go. Your academic life is not going the way you have expected. You have devoted your time to learn, but you are not retaining the things you have learned. This is the time for you to return back to Allah. وَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى الْحَيِّ الَّذِي لَا يَمُوتُ. Trust in the ever-living who does not die. If you put your trust in this one and only Allah, who does not die, who is ever watching over us, who says, وَهُوَ مَعَكُمْ أَيْنَمَا كُنْتُمْ, He is always with us wherever we may be. He knows our needs, but He wants us to reach out to Him. If we reach out to Him, Allah, this is the problem that I'm having, Allah will be there to see us through. Because indeed Allah tells us in the Quran, وَمَنْ يَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ. Whoever relies upon Allah, Allah becomes self-sufficient for him. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam put his trust in Allah, even to the extent that when he was migrating from Mecca to Medina, and he was being pursued by the disbelievers, and he was in the cave with his lone companion Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. He assured him, he gave him solace, he gave him comfort that indeed Allah was with them, and indeed Allah was with them. This is the kind of trust that is expected from us, so that if we put our trust in Allah in this way, whatever difficulties, whatever challenges we may be undergoing, Allah will always be there to see us through. That was what emboldened Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which he passed on to his companions, to the extent that when they had a small army that was going to face a bigger army of the disbelievers, he and his companions, instead of being afraid, instead of coiling back into their shells, instead of running away from the battlefield, they said, Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil. Sufficient for us is Allah, and He is a protecting friend. Sufficient for us is Allah, and He is the disposer of all affairs. This is the kind of trust that I entreat you to have, that I urge myself to try and develop in myself, to see me through everything in my life, so that at the end of the day will come out smiling, because whoever puts his trust in Allah, indeed Allah is sufficient for him. No matter the difficulties you are going through, no matter the challenges, let us, like if you read Trimism, we are told that the birds that fly out, they leave in the morning on an empty stomach, but because they trust in Allah, they go out there, and by the time they return home, they have had food to their fill. That is what Allah does for the birds. So if Allah does this for the birds, and Allah has not forgotten about them, who said Allah will forget about you and I if we put our trust in Him, Allah? If we put our trust in Allah, He will always be there to see to us. Yes, I have emphasized difficulties. I have emphasized on the challenges that we face in life, the accidents that come our way. As we speak, some people think they should put their trust in talismans. Some people think they should put their trust in shrines, that shrines will come to their aid anytime there is a challenge, anytime there is a difficulty. But my fellow believers, I assure you, I tell you, as a matter of fact, that the talisman can never save you. The ring that you put your trust in it can never save you. The shrine that you rely upon can never save you. Nothing out of the creation of Allah can save you except Allah Himself. That is why, once again, the Quran says, وَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى الْحَيِّ الَّذِي لَا يَمُوتُ. All the things that we put our trust in, they all fade away. They die. Even our shadows leave us at night. And so will everything that we put our trust in leave us, except Allah, who will always be there for us and to see to our needs. My fellow believers, reliance on Allah was the way of all the prophets. They went through different challenges in life, but they were still reliant upon Allah and were very hopeful. You remember in the first 10 days of Ramadan, we learned about the Prophet Ayub alayhi salam. When he was going through all the difficulties, the challenges that he went through, he was still reliant upon Allah. He said, Rabbi Ani Masaniya Duru wa Anta Arhamur Rahimin. Fellow believers, let us put our trust in Allah, and He is the only one who can see us through. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.